Welcome back to Black News Tonight. My next guest is a scholar of African American literature, music, and history, and her newest book takes the readers back to school through what she calls an autobiographical meditation. Farah Jasmine Griffin's Read Until You Understand the Profound Wisdom of Black Life and Literature weaves memoir, history, and art all together, but it also stays in the present moment, asking us, forcing us really, to grapple with the continuing struggle for Black freedom. Joining me now is Farah Jasmine Griffin. She's a professor of African American and African Diaspora Studies at Columbia University. And of course, she is the author of this wonderful book, Read Until You Understand. Farah, so good to see you. Thank you for joining me on Black News Tonight. I read the book before and I reread it for this interview and I was sitting in my bookstore actually maybe 2 hours ago and trying not to cry as I watched you deal with so many powerful stories, memoir, these big themes, the brilliance of the book. I got to tell you, it really is a masterpiece. And I get a lot of people on the show that write good books, but I don't tell them they masterpieces because I don't lie. It's a masterpiece, and I want you to know that. What inspired this book for you?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for reading it and having me tonight. So many things inspired me. One, wanting to tell the story of my father, my family, Philly. Um, Also to make that connect with broader issues that are in the literature that we've been reading by our writers, by James Baldwin, Toni Morrison, all these great writers. I just wanted the chance to illuminate them, lift them up, and invite people to join me in reading them.
Mm. You took us on an amazing journey, and the title itself, Read Until You Understand. Tell us about where that title comes from.
Sure. So, when I was in third grade, my father gave me two books. One was a book called Black Struggle by a man named Brian Folks, and it was kind of an overarching history of the Black freedom struggle. And the other was a collection of quotations. And in both of those books, he wrote me notes in pencil. And the notes said things like, "Baby, read this until you understand. You might not get it at first, but keep reading. Start here, read it until you understand." And he kept reiterating that phrase. So that phrase is what I used to title the book because I thought it just encapsulated so much of what I hope the book would get people, suggest that people do.
No, it really does. I mean, the book reads like a quilt made of literary inspirations interwoven with autobiographical reflection. There's so much there. What was your process like to create that kind of a project?
Yeah, so I wrote the openings of the chapters initially. Each chapter opens with a kind of autobiographical reflection. And I wrote those that were, they seemed relevant to the thematics of the chapters. And then I went back through all of these books to select books and select passages that spoke to issues of justice, issues of resistance and rage, issues of Black joy and love, even death, and more spiritual issues like mercy and grace. And then I selected selections from those books that seemed to resonate and talk to each other because I wanted to make it, I love the way you say it's a quilt. I think of it also as a conversation across time, through time, between authors who are dealing and grappling with what it means to be Black, particularly in the United States.
For those who don't read literature, and I grew up in Black bookstores, and I know a whole lot of people, especially brothers I knew, that would say, you know what, I ain't got time for literature. I'm reading the real stuff. I'm reading the hard stuff. How can you help us understand? What would you say to my audience that says, how does literature help us make sense of what it means to be Black or how to get free?
Absolutely. So I think that I include so much of that other stuff that folks were reading as literature. So, the autobiography of Malcolm X is literature because he and Alex Haley are concerned with the way they present that story. The David Walker's appeal, various speeches, those all count as literature if the writer is concerned with the writing, not just getting the message out, but the quality of the writing and of the narrative. And I think some of our greatest ideas about freedom and about how we get free and about the mess that we find ourselves in I think that our creative writers have imagined that and also imagined freedom for us. So to call yourself a serious reader of Black books and say that you never read Toni Morrison or you don't read um, Baldwin's novels as well as his essays, or you don't read Langston Hughes, I have to really say, you're missing out on something. You're missing out on a lot.
One of the big themes that comes up in the book, and you mentioned it already, is mercy. I think the chapter on mercy struck me because I hadn't really thought about the way that mercy is woven throughout Black literature. And you said, when you first made a pass through literature, you didn't necessarily see it. What is the relationship between mercy and Black freedom, Black life, and Black books?
Well, I think Mercy, our very first published writer is Phyllis Wheatley, and she has that very controversial poem. And Mercy is in the first line. "'Twas mercy bought
Woo!
me from my land," right? So it's there at the beginning. But Mercy,
Woo!
one of Toni Morrison's last novels is called A Mercy. And I think that mercy is more of a question than an answer in those books. Mercy is what is
Mm.
granted to people who deserve punishment, but they don't get punished. That's one definition. Or it's what someone in a position of power or authority to punish you chooses not to punish you and to act with compassion. So those are two definitions of mercy that I think are central to us. Um, every time we think about forgiving people who have done us harm and who deserve to be punished for having done us that harm, then we are acting out of mercy. And every time, we offer someone, we extend compassion to someone who perhaps has done something that would warrant punishment, and we suggest no, it's mercy. Marvin Gaye has a song, right? The first opening line, "Mercy, mercy me." Mercy runs throughout our tradition.
There's a way that some people say that Black folk are too merciful, that we're too generous, that we're hugging our enemies, that we're forgiving folk who aren't even sorry. And at the very same time, there's a way that mercy is not extended to us, even in the most basic fundamental ways. I thought about the story of your father uh, when he needed a stretcher to get to Philadelphia General Hospital. He needed help, he needed support. And you make a connection between that and even 2015 with Freddie Gray. There's a moment there where you were questioning whether you were both grateful and I think upset or outraged at what was happening from the police. You were questioning whether or not you could get mercy, both in the real world and from a potential God. Can you talk a little bit more about how this idea of mercy played out in your own life?
Well, certainly. I mean, I think it made me begin to question mercy, like, that those police officers were in the position to grant mercy, whatever was happening with my father. The merciful thing to do for him, to do for his child, and for the woman who would become his widow would have been to just tend to him immediately, not to question, to tend to him, to get him to the hospital, to get an ambulance to help him get to the hospital. That would have been merciful. But sometimes I think my mother was merciful in that she was hopeful against all evidence that the police would ever help us. She was hopeful that maybe these police would. And so instead of seeing them as the monsters that perhaps her own experience would have taught her, she tried to see them as human beings who would be capable of acting with compassion. And I think that's where we find ourselves time and time again. And it's up for grabs. We're always questioning mercy. So that's why mercy is the only one of the sort of values that I talk about. I talk about justice, I talk about freedom, I talk about resistance. Mercy is only one of the things, but ultimately I end up with grace. Start with mercy, end up with grace.
That's a powerful, wonderful journey, and so representative of what it means to be Black in this country, in this world. I loved seeing the third grade you refusing to stand for the national anthem. I loved hearing how you wrestle with these, quintessentially and fundamentally human challenges, and how literature played such a role in that journey. Before you go, there's such a push right now against Black ideas, against Black authors, against Black theories, against Black books. What fundamentally do you see is being at the core of that resistance to our ideas and our books, and specifically in this case, Black literature?
Because our ideas are so powerful and because they contain such truths. If you really want to know how this place called America works, not only in the ideals of itself that it likes to present, but you look at what Black people have said about it. We've been here since the beginning. We have been contending with it and challenging the ideal from the beginning. And I think that there are people who are afraid of what that truth will reveal, but I think that truth will free us, will free all of us. And so we have to insist upon a hearing for it. But if it weren't so dangerous to them, they wouldn't be trying to get rid of it. They wouldn't be trying to ban it. They wouldn't be making distractions, kind of to make a boogeyman out of it.
Absolutely. One of my favorite things in the book is when you said Black Americans' understanding of America is too realistic, too cautious, too conscious of the lessons of history to possess an unbridled patriotism. That moved me as well. I mean, anyway, I could go on and on about this book. Farah, thank you so much for joining me on Black News tonight. This is a wonderful book. I'm gonna have you on my podcast so we could do a whole hour on this thing. Everybody, it is called Read Until You Understand: The Profound Wisdom of Black Life and Literature. It is available right now everywhere, but in the spirit of this book, you should get it from an independently owned Black bookstore.